Welcome back everybody to the Levwell analysis for the SBL Preseen from December 25. And what this video is going to look at is the PESTEL framework applied to Levwell. Okay, so P stands for political. And the first thing I think I wanted to say about this is the tourism oversight and hotel quality regulation. Now remember, it's in Estland. And Estland's National Tourist Board, Visit Estland, they inspect the hotels annually and award star ratings. So this creates a kind of pressure, doesn't it, like a political or a regulatory pressure to maintain service quality, maintenance, investment, compliance with safety standards. So for Levwell, a 4-star chain, remember, maintaining these standards is essential to protect their brand quality. Public sector influence on tourism promotion, again, that's Visit Estland. It's a public sector body that promotes tourism domestically and internationally, so that could increase demand indirectly, which is really important for Levwell's targets because they're leisure guests, and so they're the ones who would benefit from a tourism promotion from Visit Estland. And then finally, the government influence on data protection. Estland has strict data protection laws with substantial fines for non-compliance. Now remember that Levwell uses its own servers, not the cloud, so the political legal environment creates increased exposure for them. Moving on then to the E in PESTEL, economic. First thing, we know that there's an economic downturn which will reduce demand. So this national and global economic downturn will reduce discretionary spending, and that normally affects the leisure guests before it affects the business guests. So it would affect our particular target customer here. So it will impact occupancy and profitability. There's also talk of high inflation, which will increase maintenance costs, renovation costs, energy costs, all of which will reduce margins. There's seasonality, and the hotels through Estland experience strong seasonal demand. That's particularly important for Levwell as they have leisure guests. So again, the occupancy will widely vary from month to month. Consolidations are happening in the market. Larger chains are acquiring independence. So therefore you're going to have increased competition, which again is going to put pressure on pricing. So that's the E, economic. We now move on to S in PESTEL, the social trends. So there's changing guest expectations because people now expect online check-in and check-out. They expect fast Wi-Fi. They expect comfort. They expect cleanliness and personalised service. And Levwell does have a differentiated local design hotels that align well with this. But remember, they've got to keep that consistency up. And that's difficult with staff leaving. So staff satisfaction and training becomes really important. Next thing for social is there's the growth of the home sharing platforms, the Airbnbs of this world. These significantly increase the supply of accommodation, don't they? And therefore reduce demand for hotels. And because we're a leisure focused brand, that's a major social trend that will affect our demand. Staffing attitudes and labour markets, while hotels always have poor pay perceptions, antisocial working hours, hence there's quite a high turnover of staff, and that will affect service quality. So, and that's critical, isn't it, for Levwell and their 4-star experience. Finally, the consumer is becoming more environmentally aware, so they're looking for sustainable practices on energy, water, waste reduction. So any hotels that's not aligned with that may lose reputation and bookings. Moving on to the T then, the technological aspect in PESTEL. First thing, technology, rapid digitalisation, isn't it, in the hotel market? Automated check-ins and check-outs, mobile app for service requests, chatbots, digital room controls in your room, digitally controlling everything. And Levwell's really hanging behind in all that. So the technology is really where I see all their opportunities. So particularly in this, yield management, so occupancy management and dynamic pricing. You could use AI to drive the pricing, which will use real-time data, see how full they are. The more full you are, the higher the price. The less full you are, the less the price. Remember, their current strategy is just basically to set the price annually with 25% discount discretion. So the use of AI and dynamic pricing is a real opportunity there for them, I think. There's also the infrastructure risk, because remember they've got the in-house hotel management system with the in-house servers rather than on the cloud, and this reliance on the real-time staff updates. So again, we've got lots of risks here, cyber, capacity, continuity risks, which also become opportunities to negate all those risks. Then there's the data security threats, strict laws, rising cybercrime. Technology risk is a major external pressure. Okay, nearly there, folks. Moving on to environmental. So sustainability expectations. Guests now really value a reduced carbon footprint, don't they? Lower energy, lower water usage, visible green initiatives, that's what we're looking for. Anybody who doesn't meet these expectations risk lower occupancy and reputational damage, don't they? Then we've got the seasonal coastal location that creates a vulnerability because we're in rural and coastal areas, and so we're going to face more environmental risks, storms, climate impacts. It's not explicitly mentioned in the pre-scene, but that's typical in a strategy evaluation. Final L then is legal. And we're looking here at data protection, privacy laws. Estland has substantial penalties for breaches of data protection. And remember, we're relying on in-house systems, so we're a little bit more exposed to this than most hotels. Employment law pressures, high turnover, poor industry pay, might mean there's an increased scrutiny on how much, or the employee welfare and the contracts we give the staff as well. Then finally, the health and safety compliance. So hotels must regularly upgrade and renovate to comply with regulations. And obviously with the inflation, that makes that compliance more tricky for us. Okay, so that's PESTEL. Hope you found that useful. Coming next, I'm going to do Porter's 5 Forces. Good news for those of you who are following this on ACCOWtancy, because that will only be in the aCOWtancy.com classroom on it.